Everybody. Hello, everybody. This is Oshewa-Oyedeji, Finding Purpose with Seyi. Thank you for joining us again today. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's another time where we bring life inspiring things, that change life, where we bring stories of people that have gone through their point of pain and moved to a place of purpose. So, and that's why we do this every twice a month, that will bring these inspiring stories to change the life of people. And like I said, my name is Shay, and we do this every time to inspire people. So thank you for everyone that's been watching us over the months. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the feedback, for all the encouragement, for all our viewers. I say thank you. So today again, I have a very, very special person with me. She's a survivor, and we are going to be hearing her story. And if you're out there watching me today, and life seems as if all hope is all gone, and it seems as if, why am I here? Why me? I'm here to tell you and to encourage you that it's just a passing phase, and when the phase does pass, you will wonder, and you'll be like so many people that will bring on this live show to tell their story. So it's just to encourage you, just to hold your hand. Yeah, it might be that season at the moment, life might be down at the moment, there might be no money, you might be ill and things like that. It does happen, but when it does, there are a lot of people that you can reach out to. They have walked the walk that you are going through at the moment, that can help you, that can pull you up and give you strength in your own time of need. So I've got a guest with me, and her name is Ewa, and she's going to introduce herself, Adeli. And so, welcome to our show. You can agree with me that she's looking all beautiful, also. So, you're welcome to Finding Purpose with Seyi, where we bring purpose out of the pain of people. Life does throw us lemons, sometimes, but we make lemonade out of all of them. Life does give us a detour, but we pull everything together and become stronger for whatever we go through. And that's why we do this show. So let her introduce herself to us. We want to know you before we start our show, and where we are waiting for other people. Please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, Seyi. Thank you very much for inviting me and having me on your platform. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone that has joined us so far. Yes, as Seyi has introduced me, my name is Titilayo Ewa Adeli, and I like to be called Ewa. Okay, so about me, I'm a woman of faith. That's how I like to introduce myself. I'm a woman of faith. I'm a wife to an amazing man, and I have 3 beautiful children. In terms of profession, I train as a legal practitioner, and I'm a certified coach. What else? I am a very active person. I am very bubbly. But at the same time, sometimes I can be quite reserved. Yes. So that's just a brief introduction about me.
It's so funny sometimes when you tell people to introduce themselves, and they're like, okay, that's all about me. And there's really so much about them that they can introduce. So, but we'll get to you. We'll get to pull you out, and we'll get to hear a lot about your story. So for everyone joining us, thank you for joining us again. This is Finding Purpose with Seyi. And with me today, I've got Titilayo Ewa Adeli, and she's going to be telling us our own journey about a period, a low life, low time in her life when things were tough for her, and when she went through cancer period, and she's going to be telling us a story today. So going straight into our interview today. In 2012, your life changed, and before we go into that, just before you go into your story, before 2012, or rather up to 2012, I want you to tell us a bit about, just in short words, what your aspirations were before that incident of 2005, so that then we can relate like every other person. What was those things that were going through your mind, those plans that you had before the 2012 incident?
Okay, so before 2012, or as at 2012, I had my three children, and my youngest was 2. I'd gone back to work, so I was then looking at moving up in my career. Do you understand? And developing myself. The older 2 were in secondary school. Yes, they were secondary school. So I felt, oh, this was a time to now do me, aspire in my career. I had my husband who had done his exams, he had qualified. So we're just living life as normal, as a family with aspirations to be better people and sort of enjoying life and just taking one day at a time.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I needed to put that in because sometimes we all go with a lot of aspiration, and to let people know that sometimes you have all those dreams, but things happen. And when things happen, we shouldn't allow it to crush us. So in 2012, tell us your story. Start off with the story. So your life changed in multiple ways. Things, just turned. So tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so in 2012, I remember, I think it was about February, I, I, I became very restless in my spirit, and I couldn't understand what it was. So in terms of career, I felt I was doing well. I was on a managerial level at work. Yes, my children were in good schools. My husband was working. Everything was fine. But then, in the place of prayer, there was just this restlessness. And the way I knew how to handle it was to go into like times of season prayer. So I would take out like 3 days, fast and pray, and still I just couldn't understand it. Okay, so come June, one morning in the bathroom, I felt a lump in my right breast. I didn't think anything of it at all, but I kept checking it, because sometimes you could have boils, and all of that, but I hadn't experienced that in a long while. But I kept checking it, and after a few weeks, and it did not go, I went to the GP. And the GP referred me to the hospital. I got to the hospital, I was referred for a mammogram and for scans. I mean, it was just like a joke, being referred from one doctor to another. Then after the mammogram, I was referred for a biopsy. And then the results of the biopsy came, and it said it was it was cancer. But then even after that, we still had appointments, a lot of series of tests to be able to determine what sort of cancer it was, and the mode of treatment that I would have to go through. So the doctor said it was breast cancer. It is what you call carcinoma in situ, grade 3. So it just means that these cancerous cells are in the milk duct, around the milk duct, and grade 3 means it's aggressive, but it's not that bad. Just try to explain in simple terms.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it was a good thing that it had been detected early, and so they recommended their treatment plan. And yes, that was how what happened in 2012. Now, initially, I just went through the process. What I mean is, I don't think I actually understood what it was that I was going through, or what it was I was going to. I didn't really understand it, let me put it that way. But I just went along, and I just kept praying. I kept praying. Okay, so come the first surgery.
So sorry to cut it. So how did that big C come to you when the news was broken to you? How did that big C?
what's the word? Okay, for me, because I had been praying
Okay.
right from the time that I felt the Lord, praying that it would be non-cancerous, that I would just go there and they'll say, oh no, it's nothing. But when it didn't happen, then I started praying for healing. I prayed for direction. I prayed for strength. So I think that helped me really to just, take it and say, okay, if this is what they're saying, God will see me through.
Okay.
But it wasn't good news at all.
Okay. So, and how did you break the news to your family before we go into the process and everything that you went
Okay,
through?
so breaking into my family, I mean, I carried my husband along right from day one, even when I found the lump, and he encouraged me, and when I came home, I remember his words very well. He said, this is a distraction.
Mm.
This is a distraction. Don't allow it to overwhelm me. So that was my husband. Now, my mother was with me, because like I said, my youngest was just over 1 year. So she was with me, and I carried her along. But the one I struggled with was to tell my children. I couldn't tell my children. No, I didn't tell them for a long time. And whilst I didn't know that whilst I was discussing with my husband or discussing with my mom, they overheard it and they were just looking at me that, when would this woman tell us? Yeah, so eventually we got to tell them. And they said, Mommy, we know.
Kids. Well, because a lot of people do struggle, and just think sometimes they'll just hide it, and just move on with themselves. So that's why I wanted to find out, how did you break the news? Did you call everybody? How did they take it? But I think you've said that. So tell us, walk us through from that point when you discovered it and all what you went through. Yeah.
Okay, so after it was confirmed it was cancer, and of course the doctors would tell you what they're recommending, the treatments that they're recommending. So what they recommended for me was surgery to take out the lump, and then chemo, radiotherapy, and hormonal treatment. So the first they had the surgery. I had the surgery. It was a one day surgery, and then the result of that came out, and they said that there were still cancer cells around the margin from which the lump had been taken out, and so I had to do another surgery. Okay, so I went through that, and the results came back the same, that there were still cancer cells, and so they were recommending mastectomy. Now that day, it was as if I just went blank. That appointment was a complete blow. I just couldn't understand why there were still cancerous cells, and I became very restless in my spirit. Now I couldn't agree with the fact that the doctors were saying mastectomy, but then I thought, if mastectomy was going to help in my recovery, why not? But the important thing was, I felt so restless in my spirit. I couldn't just agree with them. And because I couldn't agree, I just retreated to the place of prayer. And I recounted all the things that the doctors had said. And I just asked God to help me to make the right decision. Cancer is a journey that is full of turns and bends and tufts, and any wrong decision could be fatal. So whilst at the place of prayer, I asked God that if He did not want me to go with this mastectomy, to allow my peace to return. And that's exactly what happened. The body lifted. I felt, my peace was restored. And I just took it that God was saying, don't go ahead with the mastectomy. So I got back to the doctors and I said, I'd rather go on with chemotherapy and leave the mastectomy. Of course, they were shocked. They tried to persuade me and all that. But because I know that I had heard from the Lord, it was a lot easier to just go and with what I had. What I believe God was saying.
Yeah, that's, listening to you, I have two questions there because some people might wonder. So you've gone through the first surgery, through the second surgery, then after the second surgery, we're being told that it's still there, and the next step is to go for mastectomy. And it occurred to me, there that you said you prayed, but some might say, were you not scared? Are you sure it's not because you were afraid that you didn't want to go for that, or you couldn't even, because some people might say, oh, okay, but why didn't you go? Because it's more safe. It's safe for you to do that. So why, what would you tell somebody, that they're in that space of should I not, should, do you get what I'm saying? Because
I
that
understand
was a
you.
very, very tough decision, life-threatening decision you made right there. And no wonder the doctor said, why would you do that? So what would you tell that person at that space now, that they're in that junction of, and looking at you, you've done to the first surgery, the second surgery, and even after the second surgery, it's still not over. And they're still telling you to do the fifth one. So what would you tell that person? Because you were able to make that choice. But somebody might argue that, oh, I didn't hear, don't do it. I'm still afraid that they're going to cut this. What should I do? So what do you have to say to that person?
Shay, you're absolutely right. I mean, uh, even though cancer is cancer, cancer differs in so many ways, and so is the treatment, and so is everybody's journey. So my response to that would be, I would say you've got to understand your journey. You've got to know what God is saying to you with regards to your own treatment. If God is saying mastectomy is what would help you, it's your mode of recovery or your mode of treatment, please go ahead with it. But for me as a child of God, as a Christian, I felt it was very important to understand in the midst of all the options what God wanted me to do.
That was a very, very good one because for me, it's so important because somebody would just say, oh, but she didn't do it. So it's very, very important that you understand, your journey. Everyone's journey is unique and the situations are different. So it's very, very important that you know what journey you're going through and make the right decision, especially with God. So moving on, I'm just going to, I was looking at some of the process when we were talking. You went through the first treatment, you went through two surgeries, then after the surgery, you still had that decision to make. Then you went into a state of chemotherapy, radiotherapy. So walk us through all that. What does that mean to you, or how was that journey to lay people that we don't know what that is? Because within that also you had infections and things like that. So let's talk us through that.
Okay, so since we didn't go on with the mastectomy, we went ahead with chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is it was administered intravenously. So they're like fluids that are passing through your system, okay, to kill the cancerous cells. Okay, so just explaining, the chemotherapy does not discriminate. It kills all the cells in the body. Do you understand? And then new cells will grow. That's the sort of effect of chemotherapy. And what had been prescribed was for me to take 6 cycles. So one cycle every 3 weeks. What that does is it kills the cells, allow new cells to grow before you go for the next one. But by the time I took the third cycle, it affected my quality of life, and I just couldn't go on. Then the peak line is like a intravenous tube that is passed through your vein, and that's where the chemotherapy goes through so that it doesn't injure your veins. Now that got infected because they have to insert it into your body. So that got infected, and I was admitted into the hospital for like 7 to 10 days. Now the scary part about that is that word in the hospital. It's like a revolving door, and what I mean is most people go in there and they never come out. So I was there for like 7 to 10 days, and I got better, and I was discharged. And then the doctors decided that the risk of the chemotherapy far outweighed the benefits, and they said I should stop. So, and that was good for me because I really didn't want to take that chemotherapy, but maybe my faith wasn't, to that level to say I didn't want to take it. But eventually, the doctors agreed with me. I said no. Go on to radiotherapy. Yeah.
Oh, oh, oh. Wow. Wow. Thank you everybody for joining me. This is Finding Purpose with Seyi. I'm with a special guest today, Titilayo Ewa Adeli. She's a cancer survivor, and she's just telling us a story, of our journey, how she did find out and the process within it, when she went through it and our decision. And that's what we are doing at the moment. So what would you say were the practical steps that you took through your journey, at that time, the practical steps that helped you manage? I know a lot of people, just like you said, you prayed, you went to your secret place and things like that. But apart from all that, what were those practical things, practical steps that people listening to us, we don't know, people are going through things, you don't know what people are going through, that they want to find out if this happens, what are those practical steps that helped Ewa during a season? What are those practical steps that would help me? So what are those practical things that helped you, that you did during those period, that helped you, that helped your journey?
I think I've said this quite a lot. I prayed a lot. I prayed a lot. And yes, I prayed
Maybe
a lot.
there's a practical one we employ you to pray for people.
I prayed a lot. Do you
Okay.
know that I read in an article that after oral treatment, I mean, aside from oral treatment, that prayer is the most effective medicine for pain.
Oh.
So that really helped me when I felt down, or whatever I was feeling. I went to the place of prayer, and it helped me. It eased tensions. It helped my attitude, my response. Do you understand? Even when I'm going for chemo, I would have spent the night praying. It just helped me just sort of coast along, tide me over to the season that I am in right now. I think the other thing that I did was, yes, as and when I had strength, I would take out fast.
Mm-hmm.
When I say fast, also looking at my nutrition, what I was eating, and I became very, very involved in my treatment. So, like for example, I would do research on what sort of cancer it was, what would help with regards to my food. When the doctors, I prepared questions to ask the doctors, fully engage. What was it that I was being given? What will happen after this? And just, be involved with my treatment. One other thing that me, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical, is knowing that God loves you. Because most cancer patients think, oh, is this a punishment from God? Why is God doing this? And all of that. Knowing that God loves me really gave me strength and gave me courage. Even more than I could ever imagine. Just knowing that He loves me. I am His daughter. I am precious in His sight. Just that knowing made a lot of difference for me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was good. That was good. That's good. So I'm just going to ask you also, because it seems as if in your own, during your period, you did a lot of prayer. So what kind of prayers were you praying? Because a lot of people, at that stage, they don't even feel like praying. They don't feel like praying. They don't feel like, even saying, So what kind of prayers were you praying? Were you, just tell us, what are the kind of things that you were saying to God at those period, that you found that helped you? Because it seems as if that was a lot of what you did during your own season. So what kind of prayers, were you praying, you know, that you can tell
Okay,
the
so
field?
initially I prayed for, like I said, I prayed for the luck not to be cancerous. It was cancerous, so I was praying for healing.
Were you disappointed then when you prayed that it should be?
I was, I
Okay.
was. In fact, if I say this, the day I was going to get the results, there was a song that rose up in my heart, like a victory song. So I just felt like, wow, no, it's just going to be, I'm just going to work out of this. But when I got there, I was not saying, God, well, so what was that song all about? But in hindsight now, I understand that God was making me to understand that you're going to be victorious in this journey. And he had already given me the victory. He had already given me the healing. I just needed to understand that this was what God was saying to me.
Mm.
Hold on to it and, just walk through that journey. So going back to the prayers that I prayed for God um, to guide me to make the right decisions. Yes, I prayed for um, I prayed for strength. I prayed for direction. I prayed all manners of prayer. I prayed that I would not die because my mother was with me,
Your mother was?
and my mother was with me.
Okay.
My mother was with me at that time, and I did not want her to lose another child. So those are the prayers that I was praying. My child, my youngest was still over 1 year. So I prayed that Lord, in fact, the prayers that I prayed was that Lord, keep me for my children, for the sake of my husband, for the sake of my mother. And then I sort of meditated with God and said, Lord, whatever you would have me do, I will do. Maybe I did not fully understand what I was getting myself involved in that time, but I said to God that, Lord, I will do your will. Wherever you say I should go, I will go. Just take me through this journey and let me comfort as gold.
Wow. Oh, wow. That was a good one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. You've talked about prayer, and you also talked about nutrition. What kind of nutrition were you having, or did you have to change your diet? What changed? What were those things that you had to change with your nutrition and your diet at that time?
Okay, so before the diagnosis, I actually thought that uh, we we had healthy meals,
Okay.
but I understand now that whatever you're having, whatever you're eating, there's always room for improvement.
Mhm.
Okay, so I still had the normal food with more vegetables,
Okay.
more fruits, and I looked for the healthiest option. So if I had a selection to choose from, I'll go for the.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, did you have to stop, or were you still doing rice, or was just pure vegetables at that time?
Okay, at that time I still had rice, but more vegetables. So for example, I would have smoothies.
Okay.
I will have a smoothie in the morning and last it at night.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So and a lot more vegetables. Just look at different ways at infusing, vegetables into most of the things.
Mm.
And if you look on, but now there's so many other options. What we were brought up with, the kind of food that we were used to,
Mhm.
cutting down on things like palm oil, on meat, eating a lot more fish, and even the rice. I'm reducing on rice. There are other options, that you can eat apart from rice.
Okay. But how did you cope with the pain of chemotherapy, radiography, and all that? How did you cope with the pain?
I think for me, I am really, really blessed because I did not have any pain
Oh,
with regards to chemotherapy. With radiotherapy, the particular area got a bit sore after some time, but then it healed. But when you talk about pain with regards to cancer, I think God just scared me from that.
so what advice would you give to someone that's currently either going through, you know, that door with a doctor and they've just told them that you've got the big C, or they've been told previously and they're walking through that journey now? What advice would you have for such a person at this moment?
Okay, well, what I would tell that person is that being knocked down is not being knocked out. And that when something goes wrong, it is a time to get up and go towards the right direction. So when you get that, that diagnosis, is one, work with your medical practitioners, and that gave me understanding of what they were saying. But then every time or whatever they say, I would take it to the place of prayer and say, God, this is what the doctors have said. What do you want me to do with that? Then look at getting second opinions. You can get a second opinion, you can get a third opinion. So depending on what part of the country that you're from, for example, in the UK, if you've got a diagnosis here, where we live, you can go to another place, ask for a second opinion, do your research, get information on what it is they have said, so that you can be involved in your own treatment. Then I would also say, put together a support network for yourself, how to support you. And there's various organizations there that will support. So depending on what sort of, if you're single, if you're married, food, support, assistance, even sometimes somebody that will check on you regularly and just find out how you're doing. A group of people praying for you. Just put together a support network for yourself.
Go on. Okay.
Yes, and I was going to also say that most of us have a broad network of family, of friends, and people around us generally. But we don't have the support network, of help we could run to when we need it. So what I'm saying is, even for people who don't have cancer, it's a good thing to build a support network around you that works, of help, of mentors, so that if anything happens, you have a structure that works for you.
Okay. That was actually my next question, because my next question to you was, apart from your family, what support network did you have? One, then two, what for those ones that worked for you, what were those things that made them beneficial to you? And also going to that bit where you said that we have a lot of people around us, and people still say there was no support. So tell us the support network that you had apart from your family, and those ones that really support you. What were those things that you found beneficial? That, oh, good network. They did this, they did this, they did that. That you can say, okay, yeah, I fight for that. This is what you should look out for, support system. This is what you should look out. So tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so for me, just as you said, I had my family, I had friends, and that's why I, said what I said initially. I didn't have a structure in place that you would say, oh, if something comes, this is where I run to. We just have people around us, and and we see them as people we can run to. But forgetting that not everybody has gone through cancer, and most times people don't understand what you're going through. Then there's also the side of carers where they're also going through their own emotions. They're dealing with their own, the way they're responding to your cancer diagnosis. And sometimes some carers even suffer more than the patient. So for me, what worked was having my family was there, my siblings, my mother, they were all there supporting, but they were also carrying that pain along with me.
Mhm.
So I think what worked for me more was people who were completely out of the circle of their family, who were able to be truthful with me, very, very impartial and telling me certain things to do. And then having there were two charities that I worked with or that helped me along the line with advice, with support. Sometimes I just wake up in the morning and maybe I'm feeling a bit down and I could call them. I had like a body I could talk to. So she didn't know me, I never met her, but it was over the phone. And I could just pour, my feelings and emotions and then we would talk and that was it. So having that kind of support really, really helped me.
Okay, okay. My question, and that's what we see. I brought a lot of people on this show, and I wonder that so many times. And you have said the same thing. You have a lot of people around you. You have a community at work, family, church, and all things. But the person that you're able to open to, you said you don't know the person. So, but why was it? Why was it a constraint to find help within those people that were around you? Because often you find out people that they are going through a lot of things, and eventually when people find out, they're like, we didn't know, they didn't tell us, I didn't want to tell people about that, I didn't want to tell people about what I was going through. And it's a static problem that we are going through, because people need to know what people are going through to be able to support you, to be able to help you with the process, to be able to say, don't worry, I'll take care of the kids, I'll keep kids. And what you've said also is just what you've said, that you work with charity. A lot of people that were outside your family, people that didn't know you, but you still had a lot of people around you. So what stopped you, from reaching out to those support systems that were used to it? They're not your family, but they were used to you at that point, to be able to open up and say, this is what I was going through. And if you did, let's know, because we need to let people know, also what they need to do.
Okay, my response to that question, Shay, would be when I first got the diagnosis, I desperately looked for a person of faith. So whether a woman or a man who had gone through the cancer journey, I wanted to understand how they manage the everyday mind battle. How do you come from a doctor's appointment that has said something so heavy? How do you manage that with what God says and what you're feeling? But the truth is, I did find some people, but they were not willing to, work with me through that journey. And I understand, because the cancer experience can be quite a scary one and a personal one. I think some people just want to keep their stories. So that was one. The other bit is um, I'm just trying to for the proper way to. Okay, so cancer is not something that you just go to people and say, and even the word cancer sometimes, particularly in our community, comes with a lot of perceptions, a lot of stigma, and you just don't go around talking about that with somebody who has not gone through that experience. And we talk about you cannot don't have. I think from the world comfortable to work with charities where charities who understood what I was going through. And most of them were survivors themselves. so they could talk to me. But even if it was just a person of faith, a friend, they do not understand my emotions, maybe the anxiety or what I was just feeling. Sometimes it's difficult. So it's not really anybody's fault. It's just they don't understand, and you just got to, you know, realize that.
Yeah, I just had to put that in because you find out maybe later on, you find out that, oh, okay, this person has gone through that, and you're wondering that, oh, I didn't know, only if I'd knew, and people are there, but because they never. And I do understand what you said, because a lot of people are scared even of the big C, because some people hearing the big C, to you, you're a walking corpse. Some people tell you to their face, some people say it behind you, so, and all that could be very, very hurtful. So because of that, people keep a lot of things, but I just needed to say that out there, because that's why we are bringing you on and other people, because we are healed to be able to heal other people. We are set free to be able to set some other people free through the things that we've gone through, through the pain, through the experiences. You've gone through this pain, and we're still going to be talking through that. Now you've gone through this. Then the next thing that, and I thank God, because that's what you're going to be talking us through. How you find your purpose, to be able to also raise a community that can even help people, because you are a survivor. You can speak their language. So moving into that, how would you say you found purpose in your pain? And I know there are a lot of exciting things that have happened since then. So just walk us through, how you found pain in your purpose in your pain.
Okay, so in the journey, I identified a lot of gaps. Like I said, it was difficult to find a person of faith who would walk with me, in the journey, just sort of encourage me and how they were able to overcome. That was one. The second one was talking about it. Um, there was a lot of sort of restriction and limitation. Apart from those charities that I went to, there wasn't any sort of like a Christian community or network that I could draw strength from. Okay, then I remember that whilst I was praying, in the midst of my prayer, I had told God that whatever He wants me to do, I will do it. So all of that was there. So after I got my all clear, anytime I hear people talking about cancer, whether on TV, anywhere, my heart would flutter, my heart would skip a beat. I was beginning to think, is it because I've been through this? And it carried on for a while. Do you know that there was an experience I had? So I was at work on this particular day, and as I walked through the reception at work, there was news on cancer and the new statistics. It was on the rise and all of that. And my heart started beating again. Do you know, I had to sort of hold my heart and went to the kitchen. And I just said, Lord, whatever you want me to do, I will do it. Just help me. And I think from then, I just started making practice steps to say, Lord, what do you want me to do? I want to. So what I was looking at is creating a community, a support network for cancer patients, anyone impacted by cancer, so whether the patient, the family, or the friend, and also to be able to communicate that the best, or true treatment and healing for a cancer patient encompasses an integrated approach. So that means medical, nutrition, emotional and faith. That's what helped me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So moving forward from that, somebody said so much in one story. You're a very strong woman. It is very, very good. That's for you. You know. So what have you built from? I know you're doing a lot of things at the moment. So from there, what have you started, and what are you doing at the moment? Based on what you've just said now.
Okay, so to be able to put all of this together, I have founded founded a non-for-profit, and our mission is to help cancer patients to see through another season of life with hope.
Okay.
Because what cancer does is it just takes away, hope from the patient. So going through that journey, they're hopeful and they can still live their life, if, you know, with joy, with expectations, without. So that's what we try to do, and we do that through different things like facilitate programs. We support them depending on the patient's need. So it could be through financial assistance. Sometimes, if people, you could just sending them a hamper that will brighten up their day. If there are people who have young children, we render things like childcare. Yes, and then another thing we've sort of added is coaching and mentoring. I see a lot of people who have been stuck in their journey of life because of the impact of cancer, and it doesn't have to be. So the coaching and mentoring is to, help them discover themselves, to understand, and then
So tell us your own story, about you being stuck.
okay. So for
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. I can't hear you. Okay. Let me say that again. I think it's the network. Thank you everybody for joining. I can't hear, yeah, I think it's the network.
Me now.
Yes, I can hear you now. You went
I
on
can
mute,
hear
yeah.
you.
Oh, okay, okay. I think I went off there because of
Yeah, you
the
went
net.
off for a while.
Yeah, I think it was the network. Yeah, but that's good. That's good. Can you tell us about the conference that is coming? I don't know whether you said that and I missed that bit because I was off.
Okay, no, I didn't talk about the conference. So I have a
Mhm.
conference coming up on the 1st of September, the 1st and the 2nd of September. And that's part of what we do. So it's about informing, about educating on the aspects and benefits of um, an integrative approach, like I said, of cancer treatment. And so I have different speakers who are coming on to talk about, from the medical side, from the nutritional aspect, emotional, and the faith aspect. I also have three, or rather, we have three to, I think, about four cancer survivors, how they went through their journey, the different perspectives to it. And so we're bringing that to sort of inform, inspire, and encourage anyone who's going through this journey to say that you, cancer is not the end of your life. A cancer diagnosis is not the end, right? With the best approach, and God on your side, you will come forth and even come forth better than you were, before cancer. So that's what we're doing. 1st and 2nd of September at 6 p.m. We will be going live on Facebook, Instagram, and on Zoom. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, how can people connect with you?
Okay, so they can connect via our website.
Mm-hmm.
The website is arisefromtheashes.co.uk, or they can reach out to you, Seyi, and you can send them to me. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, we're still going to post at the end of this show. We're going to post all the details to the summit and how you can reach Sister Wa also, so that you can reach out. So if you know somebody that have walked this journey or they're still walking this journey, I will want to plead with you, to help them, by inviting them and sharing the details of this conference with them. Because you never know whose life you're saving. You never know because everybody's all dressed, and you're seeing everybody. By
Mhm.
just saying it, by just putting it on your wall, by just sharing it, you never know who will pick it up and who would be saved, by joining the conference that they are doing. You never know. So please share, please tell somebody, please reach out, so that in our own little way we know that we are helping somebody, in the little way that you can do. You might not have gone through cancer, but now you've seen somebody that's gone through cancer and survived, and I'm happy, when I asked her and I said, we are all clear, and she said, I got the all clear certificate and everything is all fine. But a lot of people are not as lucky as that to get the all care certificate. But what we can do for them is create that network for them, help them the way we treat them, the way we speak to people, invite them to places that they can be helped, support people that are in those kind of charity. They are helping the people that you cannot, you cannot reach because you don't know how to speak to them. So I would employ everyone watching us or that will watch on replay to please, you know, share the flyer, send the detail to somebody, whether in our churches, in our schools, You never know. So just share it and let them know that this is going on 1st and 2nd of September, just the way she has said. And apart from that, even reaching out to her personally, you never know what counseling or talking to somebody can do in the life of so many people. Before we end, I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined the Grieve to Greatness Challenge. Finding purpose, what we do, we help people find purpose in their pain, and we help people that are grieving. And there are so many ways that people grieve. Somebody, you've said that story of how you even got stuck because you never know the extent of even that announcement that you've got the big C. Automatically, the system goes into disarray. The spouse is confused, the children are confused. So there's a lot of ways that people are grieving: loss of job, widows, widowers, single parents, children are grieving, so many things. But what we are doing is helping people recover from what one form of pain or the other. And what we have done this month is to work with the widows and with the widowers and the single parent. By having the Grief to Greatness Challenge, the feedback has been great. We're still posting some of this feedback, and it's been wonderful. And we're having the workshop on Friday. If you know any widow, any widower, any single parent that needs to be in this workshop, please let them be in this workshop. Already in the group, we have a WhatsApp group, we have over 50 people there. And what amazes me, even in that WhatsApp group, because we pull them, is the impact of what people have gone through. And I ask the question, if people go through all this, they need help. If people are daily going through this situation, they need help. And it's not only about money, it's about help with mindset. It's about help in telling that there is hope. It's about help with their children. It's about help in their career. It's about transformational help. And that's why we are doing this workshop on Friday to help people. So if you would like to join or if you have more details, please send a message, the email, and all the details are on my page. Please send that in because there's so many things that we are doing to be able to help people. Also, on the 5th of September, we are having the RBG conference for special with parents with special needs, and we are focusing on HDHD and autism. And it's so important because with what we do, we find a lot of parents, especially with school that is coming up, we find out that they're stuck. They don't know what to do. Even teachers don't know how to handle these children. They are overwhelmed. Parents are overwhelmed. They don't know where to go for information. They don't have a network. And that's why we are doing all this to be able to help people in our own little way, to be able to bring people from their place of pain to their place of purpose. How beautiful will it be if a mother that is going through one thing comes to you and says, thank you for this 1 hour that you've helped me so that I could sleep. I've met a mother like that. I've not slept for a week. And you're like, let me take this child. You have a respite moment where you can rest. That is what we want to do. Building a community of people that can help other people, transformational people. And that's what we do. And that's what all this show is all about. Finding purpose is helping people to know that there's help outside there. There's help. All you need to do is ask for your help. And even while asking, we'll still be helping people to be able to form a community where we can help each other build and become stronger so that the story that you have gone through, you will use it to help another person, just as Stewa is doing today. When she was going through it, she might not feel, she might think, oh, I've just gone through it. But now she's gone through it. She's pulling up people. She's helping people. She's reaching out to people. That is what I want all the viewers to do. Now, your story, what you have gone through, no matter how little, you can help somebody. Don't sit on your pain. And my motto on this show is the whole world is waiting for the manifestation, your manifestation. So don't sit on it. Work with it and let everyone at the end of the day call you blessed. At the end of the year, let them call you and say, I thank God because I met you. I thank God because you've been a blessing to me. I thank you because of what you have done. And that's what all this show is all about. And that's why we do this bi-weekly, to encourage somebody to help people. So I would want to say thank you again to our guest today. It's been amazing. It's been amazing having you here. I know it took a lot from you to come here, and to join us. It's a lot of strength, it's a lot of courage, it's a lot of putting yourself out there but it's necessary, because you find out that being on this, you are pouring, your deepest passion out to people, and you've said it the way you went through it, and that's why we bring people here, and our prayer for you, even with this conference and with your charity, is you have people that you'll be able to empower, people that they'll become champions for your charity. And looking
Amen.
at our environment, we need the help, and we pray that you will be the support system. Everything that was lacking when you went through your own, you will
Mm-hmm.
be able to help people and put things in place. And please reach out, in any way that we can help to be able to build this charity and do the conference. We're happy to do that, because we want as many people that can be helped to be helped in our own little ways. So thank you again, everybody on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube that has joined us today. Thank you so much for always being here with me every time where we come in. We are really, really grateful. I'm not taking it for granted. For all our viewers, thank you so much. Thank you for always being here with us. I'm excited. I find this really privileged to be able to do this when I do this, because it's all about what I live for, helping people find purpose in their pain. So, what's your final word before we leave to the people? Your final word.
Thank you very much, Shay, for having me on the platform. I'm really, really, really grateful. I would just want to thank everybody, that has joined us, and to anybody who is going through um, a cancer journey or impacted by cancer, or you're a friend or a family, or you know someone out there. Just to let you know that we're here. We're here to help you. We're here to support. Even if it's information, reach out to us. Like I said, reach out to us on Facebook. Arise from the Ashes. You can reach out to us to the website, arisefromtheashes.co.uk. You can reach us to us on Instagram. Instagram is Healing Streams Prayer. And we would not take that for granted. And if it has to do with coaching or mentoring, we are here to support you. Reach out to us, reach out to Seyi, and we will be really glad to help and to support. Thank you very much, Seyi. Thank you very much again. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it's really, really a privilege to have you here today. Thank you for who you are. I've not just known you for a year, I've known you for several years, and publicly I want to say thank you, because when my son was about 4, you used to help with childcare so that I could walk. So
Seyi, you still
publicly,
remember that?
I still remember that. I didn't know you, but you're like, it's okay, let him come, you go to work. So I really want to say thank you for doing that, because that is in your own little way. I'm sure you won't think I will remember, but in your own little way you were able to do that. So thank you for always being you. Thank you for opening your door then so that I could walk. So I want to say thank you, and really glad to be here interviewing you today. And that's what
You're
good
very
thing.
welcome, Seyi. Thank you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to all our viewers, thank you. Please reach out, and remember, the whole world is waiting for your manifestation. Don't sit on your pain. Don't sit on your pain. Spread it, write it, speak it, sing it, whatever you can to be able to help someone. Thank you. Until we come again, this is Shay, and bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.